John, let's talk about the cloud for a moment if we can. What role do you see the cloud playing today, both from a user perspective in terms of user demand and also where IBM is taking its solutions in response to that?
Users today look at the potential for what cloud offers them. Cloud gives them flexibility in architecture, it gives them commercial flexibility, it gives them the capabilities to reduce cost on premises. Because when you have something on premises, you've got your own hardware, your own software, your own licenses to maintain, your own compliance, your own skills stuff. In principle, what they can do is say, 30% of that, I'm happy managing, and 70% belongs with someone else. From an IBM perspective, we deal with that in many ways. We can provide platform as a service, infrastructure as a service, application as a service, software as a service. It's actually very, very flexible, and our offerings try to accommodate all of those needs. Most interestingly, though, I'm not sure that clients, or many clients, truly understand what they need just yet. It's very much a confusing area. You know, do you want software as a service? Well, yes, of course I do. Okay, so are you aware of the implications in terms of where the data sits, what your obligations are because it's outside your firewall, what the security implications are? Those are things that it's good to have a conversation with. So when someone says, I want a cloud solution, it's actually an excellent opportunity for us to sit and say, great, tell us what you think you mean by that. And that's not because we want to absolutely constrain anything. It's primarily about having a conversation between peers that says, well, okay, here's what we've seen in other engagements, here's what we think you need to consider, and then we're walking into the discussion very much as peers as opposed to a vendor and a client. So it elicits, it brings out a lot of interesting topics that relate to why they're interested in cloud. And some of them may actually go, okay, that's interesting. I think for some of it, it's absolutely a cloud proposition, but I can see that it's not a panacea for everything. So what I will do is I'll have some stuff on premises, I'll have some stuff in the cloud, and I'll use collaboration cloud services for this, and I'll use monitoring cloud services for that, and I'll have all of this in-house, but it's very much more of an evolution in the way that they do their business and satisfy their IT requirements than simply ticking a cloud box.
Do you think it's really important for IBM to very much play the role as a trusted advisor with customers in helping them define and work out what the solutions are going to be for their requirements? So you mentioned they say they want software as a service, but do they really? So do you think that's important that you've got that close relationship with the customer when it comes to cloud discussions or indeed any other technology discussions?
Absolutely. It is a discussion among peers. I think the reality is that it's so easy to go and buy a cloud service that if you wanted a cloud service, take your credit card and go buy one. We bring a different set of dynamics to the table. We've had a lot of experience, and the ability for us to have those long-standing relationships with clients gives us, I won't say the right, because I think we've earned that opportunity to sit in front of a client and say, you've seen how we work, you've seen what we have, you've seen how it compares to other people. This is primarily about a discussion. How do you see things working? And I think we've evolved beyond some of the transactional type of interactions that you see happening on the web. So yeah, it's very much a conversation. The fact that people end up investing in certain types of technology, I think, is a reflection of the nature of the relationship rather than the end result.
Talking of evolution, how do you see the cloud story changing moving forward, both from a user perspective and in terms of your role within IBM and the technologies that you work closely with?
Cloud will evolve based on the way the industry moves. The industry is being driven by a focus on cost and a focus on data. So mobile changes everything in the sense that people now have access to more data and they're generating a lot more data. And how that data is exploited and monetized and shared around the world is changing all the dynamics of business. So there will be a far more obsessive focus on where the data is stored, how the data is stored, what happens to it as it's stored. Is it encrypted at rest? Is it encrypted through transit? What particular geographies can it traverse or not traverse? There will be certain organizations that will be very, quite rightly, interested in that sort of information. From a consumer perspective, I think we will probably be less interested where the data is held because we've never really been interested in where the data has been held. But I, as a client, for example, will be a lot more interested in where an organization, let's say a large telco company, holds my mobile data. So where is it held? And they'll go, oh, we'll hold it here, we hold it there, but we conform to the Data Protection Act. I'm going, okay, here's a data protection request. Show me where it's held, show me what you have, show me where, when you got that. I think those are going to be more indicative sort of questions purely related to the increase in awareness of the cloud. So your average user in the street may never need to know what a cloud is, but they know that it exists, and therefore they know it potentially exposes them. In the same way that the average user isn't a financial wizard, but they know that what the banks did was based on a certain number of behavioral dynamics. And I think the cloud is just an IT version of that. Where's it held? Why have you held it like that? Why have you done certain things? It'll be an interesting set of dynamics from a pure consumer perspective.